Spin a wheel of fortune. The wheel lands on 65. Then I ask you what percentage of African countries are in the United Nations. Your guess will be higher than if the wheel had landed on 10. The wheel and the question have nothing to do with each other. Your brain does not care. Anchoring is the most reliably documented bias in behavioral economics. It works on people who know about it. It works on professional negotiators. It works on judges sentencing real defendants. The only question is who set the anchor and what they were optimizing for. Today we are taking apart how every was X, now Y tag on every retail price in the world is using it. The Wheel of Fortune example is real. It comes from Amos Tversky and Daniel Kahneman in a 1974 paper in the journal Science. The paper was titled Judgment Under Uncertainty, Heuristics and Biases. It is one of the most cited papers in social science. The experiment ran like this. Subjects watched a wheel that was secretly rigged to land on either 10 or 65. Then they were asked to estimate the percentage of African countries in the UN. Subjects who saw 10 guessed, on average, 25%. Subjects who saw 65 guessed 45%. The wheel was random and explicitly meaningless. The brain still anchored on it. Tversky and Kahneman replicated the effect across dozens of variations. Real estate agents anchored on listing prices. Judges anchored on prosecutor sentencing recommendations. The effect did not require the anchor to be plausible. It just had to be visible at the moment of the decision. Walk into any clothing store. The price tag has two numbers. Was $60. Now $35. The was price is the anchor. The now price is the decision. The brain compares 35 to 60, sees a 42% saving, and feels good about the purchase. What the brain does not do automatically is compare 35 to the actual cost plus margin of the item, or to what other retailers charge, or to what the item is worth in any absolute sense. The was price is the reference point. The retailer chose it. Now the question. How is the was price determined? In many jurisdictions, the rules are loose. Retailers have, historically, set the was price arbitrarily, then run the item at the now price for 90% of its life on the shelf. In 2012, the American department store JCPenney tried something genuinely radical. They eliminated sales. The new pricing strategy, branded fair and square, set every item at a single, rounded, everyday price. No was price. No now price. No coupons. No discount events. The price you saw was the price you paid. The experiment was a public test of whether anchoring matters more than absolute price. Sales fell by 25% in the first year. Customers, when interviewed, reported that the items now seemed more expensive, even though the prices were lower in absolute terms than they had been before. JCPenney's CDO, who had championed the strategy, was fired in April 2013. The company reversed course and brought the sale tags back. The lesson is not that customers were stupid. The lesson is that the was price is doing the cognitive work the absolute price cannot. Remove the anchor and the brain has nothing to compare against. The $35 shirt now feels worse than the $60 shirt that was discounted to $35, even though the cash transaction is identical. Some jurisdictions have decided that arbitrary was prices are misleading. The European Union's 2019 Omnibus Directive, which took full effect in 2022, requires that any advertised price reduction must be based on the lowest price the seller charged in the prior 30 days. A shirt that was $60 for one day, then $35 for 30 days, cannot be advertised as discounted. The reference price has to be real. The United Kingdom's Competition and Markets Authority has taken similar action under its consumer protection rules. The United States Federal Trade Commission has rules on phantom pricing claims, though enforcement has been narrower. Class action lawsuits in the US have, over the years, named JCPenney, Kohl's, Macy's, and others on the same theory, that the was price was never a real price. The cases have produced settlements, but generally not findings of guilt. The point is that the practice is widespread enough to attract regulatory attention on 3 continents. The anchor lives everywhere a number is shown next to another number on purpose. Salary negotiation. Whoever names the first number sets the anchor. Recruiter training on the company's side explicitly recommends extracting a candidate's current salary or expectation early in the conversation so the anchor is set in the company's favor. Auction houses. The high estimate on a Sotheby's catalogue entry is an anchor. Bidders feel comfortable pushing up to it, even when comparable items have sold for far less. Restaurant menus. The most expensive dish is often a deliberate anchor. The wine list also. Most diners do not order the $400 bottle. They order the second most expensive bottle, which the wine list quietly calibrated against the $400 one. Tip screens on a card reader. The default percentages are anchors. Whatever the lowest displayed option is becomes the floor. The tip the user actually leaves correlates more strongly with the displayed defaults than with the service. 3 habits. 1. When you see a was price and a now price, train yourself to ignore the was price. Look only at the now price. Then ask whether you would buy the item, in the absolute, at the now price. If the answer is yes, the now price is the price. If the answer is no, the was price was the trick. 2. In any negotiation, name your number first whenever the other side is more interested in the deal than you are. Let them name it first whenever you are more interested. The first number sets the anchor. 3. When a tip screen shows you 15, 20, and 25%, recognize that the anchor was set against the typical 15. A custom tip is a button on every screen, and the typical small business gets the same revenue from a slightly lower tip and your continued patronage. Anchoring is one expression of how a default option is presented to your brain. The decay price uses anchoring. The phantom discount uses anchoring. The loyalty program devaluation uses anchoring. The salary negotiation, the menu, the auction, the tip screen, same shape. Once you can see the shape, the specific tactic is predictable. The price tag is a marketing object. The receipt is the price, and the anchor is whichever number the seller showed you first. The brain anchors on what it sees first. The seller knows this. The first number you see is rarely the price. It is the price's shadow, cast on purpose.